Christina's conscious synergetic thought process presents Planet Utopia, episode 122422. Counting our freedoms. It occurred to me to count my freedoms, not my blessings, because freedoms by degree are conceptually closer to the eternal omniscient mind, spelled E-O-M lowercase or E-O-M uppercase, which is my replacement for the sound word God in any spoken or written language everywhere on earth. I feel certain that Yom does not bestow blessings whether we spell it in uppercase or lowercase. Cosmic logically, Yom's metaphysical and physical universe is a design in generalized principle within which our mammalian species, humans of a mind, individually are designed to observe self and otherness. No otherness, no awareness. Otherness is the environment that includes self. This goes for everyone, since everyone is a self, as the environment is otherness, including self. Synergetics 100.01 Introduction, Scenario of the Child. Humans from birth gather information by observing the environment, which includes those who protect and nurture the new life. As the young life develops, the information gathering is more complex, learning to solve local problems in support of universal integrity. For a whole WHOLE lifetime, this includes the symmetries that accommodate aberrations and the asymmetries that propagate the differentials of consciousness evolution. Differentiating and integrating is a natural function of human intellection, correlative to thought and language, while coordination of complex interactions evolves and includes the energy which derives from universe's energy resources, the stars in principle, and on Earth through photosynthesis and other discoverable potential intertransformation. Experimentally, we can now include the fungal networks and mycelium in the web of life on Earth millions of years before modern humans arrived, that we are beginning to accredit to health and happiness. These discoverable correlations apparently coincide with, in quotes, the continuity of conscious life that becomes personality as a product of complex periodic interactions known as cycles or periodic recurrences of a higher frequency order, end quote. The quotation is from 1949, Bucky Fuller's book Ideas and Integrities, and the essay Total Thinking. As well, we can eventually recognize zero pulsation in the vector equilibrium is the closest approach that humans will ever know to eternity and God, which I have renamed Eom. Awareness of Eom may be the least familiar, seemingly most unlikely correlation between all these networks, from mycelium to the isotropic vector matrix, and Fuller's AAANOEA, an absolute accommodation network of energy articulation, and social media networks like YouTube and Twitter, as humans attempt to count our freedoms. Recalling what Bucky Fuller wrote in quotes, integration discreetly controls the coordination of all complex interactions. End quote. Can metaphysical intellect, as a function of universe, exclude the oldest and the newest networks of nature's coordinate systems? Zero is the eternal complementation of system. So this must apply to importing and exporting energy, the K and decay cycling of matter at the surface and subsurface level on Earth, since it is from 6 carbon atoms that the glucose structure of the beta-glucans form. Page 8-9, book, see link. Zero also is relevant to the always and only coexisting complementarity, gravity in parentheses matter, and radiation. Proton and neutron always co-occur and are transformable into the other. But cosmic conceptioning seems too distant from mycelium working to break down organic substances in the soil and decaying wood, much less the degrees of freedom that are unknown as educated ignorance persists in controlling humans in mindless coexistence. We are persuaded to adjust the a priori thought to manifest forms while adapting to its inherited detriments, as we know so little about entropy and syntropy and the local conservation that equals cosmic regeneration. From Oxford University Press Dictionary and Thesaurus, the word blessing is defined as God's favor and protection, a prayer asking for blessing, a beneficial thing for which one is grateful, a person's sanction or support. The Thesaurus is more specific, as a blessing is to make the sign of the cross over someone in order to call on God for protection, to consecrate, to render holy, Holy, by means of religious rites. Consecrate gets even more specific, pertaining to Christian belief that makes bread or wine into the body and blood of Christ. Right off. Awareness of freedoms, by degree, can get lost in the individual objection, buried under millenniums of the inherited detriments that emanated from the womb of permitted ignorance. And objection is the action of challenging, which can be any false premise that by default slave mentality conditioning omits the synergetic energetic events in eternal generalized principle. In this case, it concerns the conceptuality of the minimum structural system of universes, 6 degrees of freedom that every human being's conceptual and reasoning faculty of systemic thought can refer their observations of the reenacting, articulating, tolerance magnitudes of the residual inaccuracies to increase or decrease our elective freedoms according to the mind's anticipatory referential reality basis. Sanction can further befuddle attempts at clear thinking, since it means threatened as a penalty for disobeying a law or rule, a measure taken by a state to coerce another to conform to an international agreement. Sanction is official permission or approval. Sanctions are mechanisms of social control for enforcing a society's standards. When is the indiscernible difference clarified between thought action, either as a blessing or a curse? I ask, correlatively to not having a clue of the PRJWBCHM politics, religion, justice, war, belief complex, hierarchical matrix, an acronym I wrote from my lifelong observations of the reenacting articulations as personal experiences, from published books by various authors, in movies, videos, documentaries, printed newspaper, online news reports, fake and real events. Looking up intuited words in the dictionary during the writing process leads to more clarity. But in and of itself, similarly to the AI robot, artificial intelligence robot, it cannot replace the human being's metaphysical generalized conception field of thought, nor associate systemic thoughts, minimum thinkable set, as the integral polyhedral patterning tetrahedron integrity, universe's minimum structural system. The freedoms we can count are degrees of freedom of action, motion freedom, event freedom, the star event, and degrees of freedom that are excluded by histories of the PRJWBCHM survival mechanisms, the inculcating educated ignorance. Its prevalent PRJW factors tend to overpower our adaptive nature and underwhelm consciousness evolution's knowledge of the 6 positive and negative degrees of fundamental transformation freedoms. Those freedoms provide the 12 alternate ways in which nature can behave most economically. Synergetics 502.25 and Synergetics 537.12. That is, upon each and every energy event occurrence. Why must histories of misconceived false premises suppress the degrees of freedom humans can conceptualize independent of size, as we also cogitate reliably in respect to equilibrium referential to the vector equilibrium. Let's recall the easily rememberable 8 U's of planet Utopia. U for ubiquitous, U for understanding, U for unifying, U for unique, U for unity, U for universe, U for us, U for utopia. We are highly intelligent evolving human mammalians, a species of the eternal omniscient mind, ubiquitously understanding us, designing systems for survival on planet Utopia. Until next time, I continue anticipating our healthy, happy coexistence on Earth and on planet Utopia. Reference Synergetics 101.01 Introduction Scenario of the Child. Synergetics 502.25. Synergetics 537.12. Synergetics 542.03 Tetrahedral Equation. Synergetics 921.10 Energy Behavior in Tetrahedra. Synergetics 924.10 Centers of Congruence. Book The Health Benefits of Medicinal Mushrooms by natural physician Mark Stengler. First Amendment. Declaration of Independence. How the U.S. government is organized. Contact planetutopia60@gmail.com. Thank you.